You would think that a movie about aliens, exposures, and end of the world panic would be loud, frantic, and chaotic. But 10 Cloverfield Lane is the opposite. It's quiet, it's suffocating. It traps you in a bunker where the scariest thing isn't the monster at the end, it's the uncertainty in the middle. This is a story about control, trust, emotional manipulation, and the terrifying moment when you realize the person saving you might actually be the danger. It's not just a thriller, it's a psychological autopsy of human behavior under pressure, and that's what makes it one of the most fascinating films of the last decade. When Michelle wakes up chained in a bunker, she is panicked. At first, she asks questions to get some clarity, but she also is thinking about a plan to escape or let someone know she has been kidnapped. What's interesting is how Howard immediately pulls a chair close to her, sitting in her personal space like he's conducting interrogation disguised as a rescue. His voice is calm, steady, almost rehearsed. He tells her he saved her, that there's been an attack, that she can't leave. Michelle, even in fear, begins analyzing the situation with emotional intelligence. She asks control questions, not to bond with him, but to understand what kind of person he is and how to talk her way out if needed. Michelle's entire survival depends on her ability to read micro expressions and emotional shifts. She quickly recognized that Howard is unpredictable, not chaotic, but emotionally inconsistent. Every choice Michelle faces comes with two possible meanings. Either Howard is lying or he's telling the truth, and both possibilities are terrifying. Her survival doesn't begin as a physical struggle, it begins as a psychological one. As the audience, you can feel it too. The shift in tone, the tightening of Howard's jaw, the way his eyes narrow just a little before his temper turns. Michelle isn't learning the bunker by exploring its rooms. She's learning it by reading him. She maps the danger emotionally, not physically, decoding his moods, his silence, and his body language like they're escape routes. For a moment, Michelle does start to get a little comfortable, or at least she learns how to coexist with Howard's routine. But that illusion shatters the second she realized he was lying about Megan.
Wait, that's not Megan.
What do you mean?
Yeah, her name is Brittany. I remember her. She went to high school with my little sister.
That discovery isn't just a plot twist, it's the moment Michelle understood any comfort she felt was manufactured. The kindness, the meals, the conversations, all of it collapsed under the weight of that lie. From the point on, she isn't just trying to survive the bunker, she's trying to survive Howard. Howard, played with chilling precision by John Goodman, becomes more terrifying the longer he stays calm. He's the type of villain whose body language gives him away even when his words don't. His posture tells the real story. Shoulders stiff, arms locked, hands often balled into tight fists, or resting flat on the table like he's trying to control the room without making sudden movements. When he talks, his eyes contact is too direct, too intense, not the gaze of someone's connecting, but the gaze of someone's monitoring. He watches Michelle and Emmett the way someone watches a security feed. He believes every narrative he creates, even when he contradicts the last one. Howard mixes truth with lies so effectively that even the audience second guess themselves. And that's the brilliance. He's the kind of man whose protection becomes captivity, whose politeness becomes currency, and whose authority becomes violence. He doesn't shout to scare you. He scares you by being polite until he isn't. Emmett, meanwhile, shifts the emotional chemistry of the bunker. His presence is grounded, he slouches, he moves casually, he tries to make jokes. His body language is open, loose, and unthreatened. Even at the dinner table, the contrast is clear. Emmett compliments the sauce, leans back, and tries to diffuse the tension, while Howard sits upright with military stillness, staring at Emmett with a rigid jaw and eyes that barely blink. Emmett becomes the accidentally truth teller. He exposed Howard without even trying, and his honesty cracks the illusion Howard has constructed. Emmett represents safety because his emotions behavior is genuine, and genuineness is dangerous in a room built on lies. That's why he doesn't survive. The bunker isn't a masterpiece of a symbolic design. It's built like a domestic sanctuary. Board games, a jukebox, soft lighting, homemade dinners, a cheerful family table. It looks safe. It feels familiar, almost cozy. But that's exactly the trap. The bunker is a physical representation of Howard's psychological manipulation. It's a prison decorated like a home. It's the horror movie version of the phrase, "I know what's best for you." Howard doesn't just want obedience, he wants Michelle to fit into the story he's already written in his head. You can see it clearly during the game night scene. When they play charades, Emmett gives Howard the clues. Michelle is and Howard's first instinct is to answer, a girl, a child. He doesn't see her as an adult with autonomy. He sees her as someone smaller, someone he should guide, control, and protect on his own terms. When Emmett tries again, hitting that she's older and a little, Howard blurts out a little princess. That moment isn't just awkward, it's revealing. It confirms that Howard doesn't see Michelle as Michelle at all. He sees her as Megan, the daughter he couldn't keep, the girl he's trying to recreate and replace. That delusion becomes more obvious during the dinner scene. Howard casually mentions how Megan was such a great cook, then immediately follows it with, "And Michelle will learn to cook too."
Megan was a good cook. You'll learn to love cooking.
On the surface, it sounds like a small talk, but beneath it is ownership, a man assigning a role to someone who never agreed to play it. It's a chilling reminder that Howard doesn't see Michelle as a person with agency. He sees her as a character in his script, a replacement in his broken family dynamic, someone he believes he can mold into the daughter, companion, or creation he feels entitled to have. Even after Howard unalives Emmett, he doesn't react with guilt or panic. He reacts with presentation. He changes his appearance, cleans himself up, and tries to reset the mood like nothing happened. Moments later, he walks into Michelle's room with ice cream, smiling as he didn't just end someone's life. That moment is one of the most chilling in the entire film because it exposed the way Howard's mind works. He doesn't see Emmett's death as a moral event. He sees it as a removing an obstacle, fixing a problem, making the bunker safe again. It's a chilling glimpse into Howard's psychological delusion. He isn't saving Michelle from the outside world. He's casting her in a role she never agreed to play. The emotional intelligence of the set design is subtle but powerful. The bunker has no corners where Michelle can feel truly alone. Even her bedroom feels staged, not lived in. The walls are warm color, but the lighting is slightly dim, like a mix of comfort and surveillance. It's a visual version of Howard's personality, inviting on the surface, restrictive underneath. The space forces you to exist in Howard's idea of family, and that's the scariest part. The tone of 10 Cloverfield Lane reinforced the psychological captivity is a shot like a stage play, with silence so heavy it almost hums. The stillness becomes a form of communication. You can often guess Howard's emotional state not by what he says, but by what he doesn't say. The pause before he answers, the slow turn of his head, the deep breath he takes before deciding whether to explode or stay calm. The movie uses these quiet emotional beats as weapons. Every shift in volume, every footstep, every sign adds to the pressure cooker atmosphere. You don't watch the tension, you feel your body tighten with it. Behind the scenes, the filming experience mirrors the emotional tension on screen, the actors rehearsing together in the actual bunker set, which was built as a fully functional space, so the claustrophobia would feel real. John Goodman improvised many of Howard's most unsettling behaviors. The icy stares, the sudden emotional switches, the way he would lower his voice instead of raising it. Meanwhile, Mary Elizabeth Winstead filmed her escape scenes last after weeks in confinement in the bunker set. So leaving it felt like a genuine emotional release. Even the set design team intentionally used warm domestic touches to make the bunker feel like a home you slowly realize it's a trap. The emotional equivalent of a hand gentle placed on your shoulder that slowly begins to tighten. What makes the film brilliant is that the core question, what is more dangerous, the world outside or the man inside? Howard promised certainty in a world of chaos, and that is what makes him such a believable threat. Manipulation rarely starts with shouting, it starts with comfort. Howard's dinners, compliments, rules, and routines feel safe at first. But that's how manipulation works. It feels love until it doesn't. Even the symbolic details of the bunker reinforce this. Howard's obsession with outdated gender roles, family meals, modest clothing, respect for the man of the house shows a man trying to rebuild the world according to his fantasies. The bright walls, the cozy furniture, and the vintage touches form a prison disguised as nostalgia. Howard doesn't want a survivor, he wants a 1950s family structure where he decides who's everyone gets to be. And that's why the ending strikes so hard. When Michelle escapes and discovers the alien invasion is real, the two films doesn't undermine her experience. It reinforced the theme that two horrors can exist at once. Harold was a monster, the world outside is a battlefield. But Michelle chooses truth over safety, even when the truth is terrifying. Her decision to drive toward the resistance, not away from it, is the real climax. It's not about surviving aliens, it's about reclaiming agency. 10 Cloverfield Lane works because it pulls you into a moral maze, a physical trap disguised as a survival story. It's not about the creature you see at the end, but the everyday monster who claims to know what's best for you, who twists fear into dependency, who offers safety at a cost you don't see until the door locks behind you. The film is a reminder that sometimes the scariest danger isn't the unknown outside, it's the familiar comfort inside, especially when the comfort comes with rules, silence, and strings attached. I'm Welcome to the Dark Side. Thank you for watching, and until then, see you later.